在本月初举行的中非南海问题双边磋商机制第9次会议上，双方就完善两国涉海沟通机制进行了交流。两国同意进一步加强外交、海警间涉海沟通对话，共同维护海上局势稳定和中非关系大局。
While the Philippines is committed to a peaceful resolution of disputes through diplomatic means or peaceful means, this will not be done at the expense of our national interest.
The Philippines' foreign ministry has accused China of misrepresenting a recent arrangement that allows unimpeded resupply of Filipino troops stationed on a beached naval vessel in the South China Sea, escalating tensions in the disputed waters. The provisional agreement reached earlier this month followed a series of clashes at the Second Thomas Shoal. This deal permits resupply missions to soldiers aboard the Sierra Madre, a naval vessel that Manila intentionally grounded in 1999 to assert its maritime claims. Philippine Foreign Ministry spokesperson Teresita Daza stated that the latest resupply mission on Saturday was completed without incident. Chinese Coast Guard vessels, she noted, maintained a reasonable distance from the operation.
As I mentioned earlier, the West Philippine Sea is an issue of consequence to the country. It is important on various fronts. The South China Sea, West Philippine Sea is a shipping trading route. It is also a source of marine resources. It is also a source of...
However, China's foreign ministry spokesperson contended that China's Coast Guard had been notified ahead of the mission and allowed the vessel through after an on-site confirmation. Daza responded on Sunday, expressing regret that China had mischaracterized the resupply mission. She emphasized that instead of acknowledging the cooperation between the two countries to avoid misunderstandings, China had misrepresented the agreement. Instead of acknowledging how two countries were able to manage differences to avoid miscalculation and misunderstanding, the spokesperson chose to misrepresent what has been agreed between the Philippines and China, Daza asserted. The Chinese embassy in Manila did not immediately respond to requests for comment outside office hours. The details of the arrangement between China and the Philippines have not been publicly disclosed, but both nations have stated that the deal aims to ease regional tensions. Daza reiterated that the agreement was concluded in good faith and emphasized that it would not prejudice national positions. She criticized the propagation of false notions about the terms and implementation of the agreement. The Philippines' South China Sea Task Force also issued a statement, asserting that Manila did not seek Chinese permission for the resupply mission. They confirmed that there was no boarding or inspection by the Chinese Coast Guard. Located within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, the Second Thomas Shoal is claimed by China as part of its territory. Last month, a Filipino Navy sailor lost a finger in a confrontation between the Chinese Coast Guard and the Philippine Navy. China claims almost the entire South China Sea based on historic maps, a stance that an arbitral tribunal in 2016 ruled had no basis under international law. In a separate statement, the Chinese Foreign Ministry confirmed the temporary arrangement and reiterated its demand for the Philippines to remove the grounded ship and restore the shoal to its original status.
中方基于处理当前仁爱礁局势的3点原则立场，同菲方就运补人道主义生活物资达成了临时性安排，这是中方为管控海上局势做的积极努力。中方将继续坚定维护自身主权和权益，同时注意到菲方表示愿意执行与中方达成的临时性安排，希望菲方言行一致，不要试图倒退，不要节外生枝，不要再采取使局势复杂化的举动。
The Sierra Madre was intentionally beached by Manila in 1999 to reinforce its claims over the disputed waters. The ship has since housed a small contingent of Filipino soldiers. China has indicated willingness to allow humanitarian resupply missions, but remains opposed to any attempts by the Philippines to build permanent facilities on the ship. Philippine security officials have stated that they will continue to conduct resupply missions independently, despite offers of assistance from the United States. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan reaffirmed the U.S. commitment to supporting the Philippines, but acknowledged that resupply operations remain a purely Philippine initiative.
The capacity of the Philippines to do these resupplies, we will continue to support the Philippines and stand behind them as they take steps to be able to ensure that. And I will be very cautious about speaking about hypotheticals should we have to get to it, because The most important thing right now is to see de-escalation and to see the ability of the Philippines to do resupplies. We believe that is achievable, and we are going to drive to make that happen.
Philippine National Security Advisor Eduardo Ano confirmed that there is no current need for direct U.S. involvement in the resupply missions. Tensions in the South China Sea have escalated recently, with incidents of violence including a Filipino soldier losing a finger during a confrontation with the Chinese Coast Guard last month. The Philippines and the United States are bound by the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty, which can be invoked in case of armed attacks against Philippine forces in the South China Sea. U.S. officials have reaffirmed their commitment to this treaty. China's broad claims in the South China Sea overlap with those of several other countries, including the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei. In June, another collision occurred, with both China and the Philippines trading accusations over responsibility for the incident. U.S. officials have condemned China's actions, describing them as aggressive and dangerous, and reaffirmed their support for the Philippines. The latest resupply mission, completed on Saturday, involved a civilian vessel escorted by the Philippine Coast Guard, with no incidents reported. Chinese vessels were observed at a reasonable distance, and the mission was conducted without prior notification to China, according to the Philippine Foreign Ministry. The Chinese Coast Guard claimed to have supervised the mission, urging the Philippines to honor its commitments and work towards managing the maritime situation jointly. At a regional summit in Laos, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken expressed satisfaction with the success of the mission and the agreement between the Philippines and China.
The PRC's escalatory and unlawful actions taken against the Philippines in the South China Sea over the last few months. On that, we are pleased to take note of the successful resupply today at the second Thomas Shoal, which is the product of an agreement reached between the Philippines and China. We applaud that and hope and expect to see that it continues going forward.
The second Thomas Shoal, within the Philippines' 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone, remains a point of contention, with China asserting its claims based on historic maps. The ongoing tensions highlight the complexities and challenges of managing disputes in the resource-rich South China Sea, a critical waterway for international trade and regional security. As the Philippines continues its resupply missions, the fragile balance between maintaining sovereignty and managing diplomatic relations with China remains a significant challenge. The situation will require careful navigation to avoid further escalation and ensure stability in the region. Thank you for tuning into our channel. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis of global issues.